Hello friends, and welcome to the Hanged Man in the Moon. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, even if you are a returning visitor, you probably don't know exactly what's going on here. I've decided to launch a potentially new series exploring spreads. Now, I'm going to start with the spreads that I've been using for my weekly in-depth readings on how we can live intentional lives. I've been doing large spreads for those. And so I decided to pull out those spreads and give you a walkthrough of how I actually read with those spreads and what I think the spreads could be used for. And then when I get to the end of that short little series, there have been about 3 different spreads that I've used, maybe 4. I'll go back and review. But I'll probably branch out into other spreads. I'll probably pull spreads from guidebooks that I have, perhaps from Holistic Tarot, perhaps from the Tarot of the Holy Light, and walk through some spreads for you. Maybe 1 a week, that's my goal right now, but we'll see how it goes. So this is the first video. This is perhaps the first installment of a series. And friends, come with me on this journey too. I'll see you, I'll turn the camera down, and we'll take a look at the spread that I've been using for the last month or 2. Here we go. Welcome back. Friends, the spread that I'm about to show you is based on the Ace of Discs from the Tarot of the Holy Light. Let me show you the full color version of that card right now. It's a beautiful card, isn't it? And this is the black and white version of it. Let me show you the card up close and personal. Let me see, there we go. You're in frame. So this is the black and white version. And I'm using the black and white version of this card right now so that I could Xerox it and show it to you like this. And so this was that same card you saw in color in black and white and enlarged on my computer. So, why am I showing you this? I want to show you how I came up with this spread. Yeah, what I did was, I've done this a few times, and I'm surprised at how well it works. When shuffling the deck, asked the deck to show me a card that would inspire a spread, that could inspire a spread. And so, once I shuffled the Tarot of the Holy Light by the beautiful Christine Payne-Towler, and this card appeared. And it took me a moment to really see what elements I was looking at that could inspire a spread, because this to me looks very circular, and when I think of our cards, they're generally very square. I've got a couple of round decks, sure, but I didn't think I wasn't going to use round decks for this spread because I had intended to use the Tarot of the Holy Light for the main section of the spread. So that was not really an option. So what I saw after emptying my mind and picking out elements was that, yes, there is this central section here, which, while it is a circle, could be done with a 4 square, right? Squaring the circle. And this is the eye of God. This is the central message of the spread. And then I noticed that there were these stars down here at the bottom. Stars with the bases of these plants. And I thought, well, this could be one section down here. Maybe this is a discs spread, right? Earth suit. So this could be the earth part of the spread. And then I noticed the clouds above, and I thought, well, earth, air. And while it's not as clear 1, 2, 3 at the bottom, still I could see 1, 2, 3 fitting into this cloud formation. And then I noticed these two flowers at opposite sides of the central discs. And I thought, well, these could be oracle cards. These could be the advice. So the spread that I see looking at this card is as follows. We have one central message here, the Eye of God. We have 3 cards at the top, which give us the air, the mind, our vision, where our attention is. All those air qualities, right? And then we have a group of 3 cards at the bottom, which are our earth. Yeah, the physicality, the stuff we're doing, the earthiness, the groundedness of this spread. Yeah, so this is the base, the ground. This is the, I'm sorry, these sleeves do not work well with this spread cloth. This is the ground, the base, what we're doing, the action in the world. This is where our attention is, our vision, our mind. And then we have 2 advice cards on the side. And what I do when I use this spread is I have 1, 2, 3 different tarot decks and 1 or 2 oracle decks providing the advice on the sides. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to stick with 1 tarot deck. I needed a small tarot deck to fit within the frame of this video. So what I've chosen is my very trimmed down version of the Llewellyn Tarot. This is probably the smallest tarot deck I have besides my tarots in tins. And I suppose I could have used my Morgan Greer for this, but I decided to go with this one. Even though I've cut off the titles and the numbers, I think it follows the RWS system. It follows Pamela Coleman Smith's inspiration closely enough for those of us who are fairly experienced with tarot to see which cards are being drawn and are in play in each section. Does that make sense? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle the deck and I'm going to lay out a spread and show you how I read it. Now, maybe we want to talk about this question first. What is the purpose of this spread? When we think of a lot of Golden Dawn system-based spreads, for example, spreads from the Thoth, when we think of spreads from RWS, the Smith-Waite system and tradition, the Thoth tradition, we often think of each card answering one question or serving the purpose of one idea. The typical spread that comes to my mind is the Celtic Cross, right? The spread that was spread by Arthur Waite. And when we think of that spread, we've got 10 cards, right? We have the significator, we have the thing that crosses, we have the what's below, what's above, what's the past, the future, and then these side cards are often described in different ways by different users of the spread. For me, I do the first one being the querent, who they are, the second one being their environment, the third one being the hopes and fears of the querent or the seeker. I prefer seeker actually. And then the final card being the advice. One card giving a meaning, giving a response to a meaning or a question. This spread is different. This spread, as I read it, is going to give us general ideas. One card for one place, for one question, for one meaning is not the purpose of this. We have several cards that give us a response to what we are thinking of, what we are experiencing, what is the main message, right? So how would I use this spread? Well, I'd use this spread generally, or have used this spread generally, to answer a very broad question. when I do my weekly videos, the question always is, how can we live this week more intentionally? A very broad question. It could be something like, how am I doing in my spiritual growth? Or how is my work doing? Yeah, my career? How's my love life going? I would use this for a very broad, general reading. Now, it may also work very nicely for very specific questions like, what is the problem between me and person B in this situation? Why are my coworkers looking at me so strangely? I mean, it could be anything. Why does Romeo fall in love with Juliet? But I'm going to show you a very general reading. And the question that I'm going to shuffle into the deck, I being the seeker at this moment, is going to be, how is my spiritual journey progressing? Now, how is my spiritual journey progressing? So I'm going to shuffle that question into the deck and lay out the spread, and we will look at it briefly together. So, how is my spiritual journey progressing? How is my spiritual journey progressing? This is how I shuffle my decks, in case you're curious. This is my, whoa, okay, so this is, I haven't worked with this deck for a while. I'm usually a much better riffle shuffler. How is my spiritual journey progressing? There we go. How is my spiritual journey progressing? 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 Okay. How's my spiritual journey progressing? Whoa, okay, so these cards, jumper cards, now it's so sad because I would have liked this card to have shown up. I pull these cards as cards wanting to, okay, so what am I trying to say? People who read jumpers find the jumpers as significant in the sense of these are cards that want to be seen, that want to show themselves, that these are cards that I really must read. For me, often I read, I know, I don't assume, I know that the jumpers are because of my hands, and my imperfect shuffling skills. So instead of reading them for me as being significant cards, I take them to be cards that are pulling themselves out of the shuffle. These are cards that want to be eliminated, so, or want to be moved in the shuffle. So when they pop out, if they pop out to the extent that I cannot bring them back in before they like hit the table or before I lose control of them. Sometimes a card will start to pop out, and as it starts to pop out, I can flip it back in. That stays. Ones that completely pop out, I pull them out and I just slap them back on top of the deck because they apparently want to be in a different order. That's the way I perceive jumpers for me. I'm not saying that's the way you have to do it. That's why I just did what I did. So those cards for me wanted to be pulled out of the spread, wanted to be pulled out because it was time for my cut. And now what am I going to do? I'm going to lay the spread out face down, and then I'll turn the cards over for us to see. Really, do I really want to do it that way? Excuse me. No, I don't. I'm going to lay them face up. Okay. I'm going to lay them face up, but I'm not going to read them out loud as I lay them out. Just in case, I don't think I mentioned this, but this is my trimmed copy of the Llewellyn. This is the edging I did on it, and it's a very nice, small deck, perfect for this kind of layout. So, here we go. How am I progressing on my spiritual journey? And I'm feeling the desire to lay them clockwise this time. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll start with the center. Okay. And then I'll go up to the air, because I think I might not have left enough room for the air. Let's see. 1, 2. Yeah, that's off camera, I think. Let me check. Oh, it's not off camera. Okay. Oh, but tripod. Okay, so let me move this down a little bit. Okay, and here we go for the bottom. This is the earth, right? Ooh, very emotional earth, right? Ooh, okay. Interesting. And here's the advice from left to right. Move on. Okay, so now let me see if I recall what I'm looking at here. It's been a while since I've read this. I've read with this. So to my recollection, this is the Queen of Cups. No, that's not the Queen of Cups. Okay, I need my guidebook because I really have not looked at this deck for a while. And like I said, I've chopped off my title cards. So let's see. Let me see. Queen of Cups. No, that's not the Queen of Cups. So yeah, that is Major Arcana. I thought it was, but I wasn't exactly sure. So that's a Major Arcana card. What do we have at the top? We've got, I believe, the Empress. No, where are my majors? They're at the front. Okay. My majors. Okay, so good. Now, okay. So yes, that is our High Priestess. And this, I believe, is the Empress. No, it's not the Empress. Could it be Temperance? Yes, that is Temperance. Okay, good. So, yes, we have the Star. Okay, well, let me go in order that I laid them out, right? We have the High Priestess, the Four of Wands, Temperance, the Eight of Wands. Above, we've got from left to right, the Ten of Pentacles, the Four of Swords, and the Star. Below, we have the 10 of Cups, interesting pairing, right? The 7 of Cups and the Magician, interesting pairing. We've got majors here, we've got 10s here, and then 6 of Swords and King of Cups. So first thing I would do, looking at this overall spread before getting into into the specific meanings, is I'd do that. Yeah, I'd notice what mirrors, what parallels. Now we've got at kitty corners, we've got 2 majors here as well. We've got 2 wands here. So we've got wands, and perfect for my question about spiritual journey, right? We've got a lot of majors. Only 1 court card. Okay, we've got swords, yes. We've got wands, yes. We've got cups, yes. And we've got pentacles, yes. We've got swords, wands, we've got all of them. We have more cups and wands than we have pentacles and swords, but they're all there. And, well, we've got 2 swords, 2 wands, 2 cup, 3 cups, and 1 pentacle. So, that's an interesting thing to note. We're not missing anything, but we might be a little bit light on the earthy side of the spread, right? Perhaps we might want to consider adding more action, more grounded physicality to what we're doing. Now, we got the passion, we got the ideas, we've got the emotion, but we're missing a little bit of the daily work, right? And the physicality of it, the earthiness of it. So we got that thing in our heads, right? So now I'm going to start right in the center. And we start with the High Priestess. Yeah, perfect for a spirituality spread, right? We've got that idea of the connection with the unconscious, the internal wisdom, the knowledge that each of us has, and the knowledge that we have in connection in what often we call the collective unconscious, right? She's connected to the water. There's a little bit of a web here which gives us that idea of connection as well. A spider connects things with their webs. It also catches things with their webs. Yeah. She's got I don't know if you can see this, but she does have stuff on her lap, right? It looks like a flower and maybe a book to me. And we have a well, an overflowing well that flows out into the world. So there's a connectedness with the world, and also a looking within, and a connection with the emotional, intuitive side of self. And then, since I laid them clockwise and I don't see anybody particularly looking left or right, that will be a clue for me. Line of sight is a clue for me in readings. So, for example, if this High Priestess were looking this way, for example, to this side, to my right, or were looking clearly to the left, or looking clearly in another direction, I would probably follow that line of sight, unless there were something that were another human or another face that it was clearly looking in an opposite direction. I would try to balance those lines of sight in reading. But here, these figures are all face forward. Now, this king is looking this way, right? But these figures are all face forward, so I'm going to read in this direction, the way that they were laid out. So I've got the idea of connection with the unconscious. And the idea here, and you'll notice there's a lot of water in this Four of Wands, right? This water seems to flow here. So in that connection, I can take a time to celebrate, perhaps. It's a milestone card. It's a card of the stability of our passions as well. So my unconscious, my intuitive, my connection with spirit within flows out into the world and is read within myself as I moved in the direction of a time of pause and celebration for where I have arrived so far. And in that celebration of where I am now, I can find this, I can find balance, right? I can do the alchemical work of taking things and not necessarily smashing them together, but pouring them together to create the new. In that moment of pause, I have the space to, as I celebrate, to create something new. And as I create something new, then the energy can get ramped up. In the Eight of Wands, right? The fire can burst forth. The new project, the new passion can burst forth. And this is interesting because just recently I've started, if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, you may already know this, I've just started ACIM, A Course in Miracles, again. I had started doing that in the past, and I just recently heard an interview, and in that interview, two of the people were talking about A Course in Miracles, and I thought, dang it, this might be the time for me to pick it back up again and really do it. So how is what the main message for me? How is my spiritual journey progressing? Well, it's progressing in this way. I am connected to my internal wisdom and my intuition, which led me to reclaim my study of A Course in Miracles, which is that moment, that pause, that moment of celebration of this is a new beginning. I've come this far. I can celebrate where I am, and I'm about to do something new. And so I can balance what I have done and the new thing that I'm picking up, and then it will take off. I will have the energy, hopefully, to continue and see it to the end. It's a one-year course, if you don't know it. A beautiful course, highly recommend it, especially if you have the stamina to keep going with it. It's really not that difficult. So that's where we went with this spread. Now we've also got these balances, right? We've got the balance of pause and activity. We've got the balance of internal connection, the internal wisdom, and the merging together of elements to create the new. So wisdom and connection to our inner wisdom and our creation alchemically of the new stuff by balancing opposites, by balancing ends or directions of spectrum, hot, cold, gold, silver, light, dark, joy, sorrow. We balance those here and we move here into that activity. So, where is my mind at this moment? Let's go up here. So we start with the 10 of Pentacles, which is an earthy suit, but it's a suit, the card of legacy. It's a card of family, of security. We've got everything that we need, and we have enough to also share with others. We have the material to share with each other. We've noticed this, a woman here feeding a younger person, a child. Now we got the family pets here. We've got family in their courtyard, in their castle, in their home, or with plants growing. They're thriving, right? Outside, they have the broad world available to them, but inside, not but inside, and inside, they have their stable space where they can share and they can feed visitors. And we move here to that moment of pause, the moment to recuperate, to heal, to stabilize our mental activity, which leads us to hope. Right? The star card, the hope card, finding our direction, finding our path, following our North Star, following the bird which is flying towards our North Star, right? And the star card is also a watery card to me. There's a lot of water here. We've got the water here flowing here. We've also got the water in the star card, which reminds us of the unconscious, the emotions, the connection we have to our personal divine, and the connection we have with the collective divine in the heavens. So what is this trying to tell us? Well, remember, this card is also the card of family, right? So this echoes this to me. So in my stability, in my right now, financial, physical, stability of resources, I have enough to feed myself, and I might look to feeding others as well. In this space, I also want to take that moment, the fours, of pause, the moment of reflection, the moment to heal what I have been through. I just noticed this tree looking like a person in agony. Do you see the head, the body, but do you also see that it's a tree? This figure here is a figure in agony, and this figure asks for or wants healing, wants recovery, recuperation. And from there, we get the idea of, then we can move into our hope and our direction. So this is where I want to place my attention, that in my security and my ability to feed myself and others, I want to take a moment to recuperate and recover from what the journey that has brought me here. And if and when I do that, I will rediscover my star, my direction to go in. This is where my attention is. Now, where is my body? Where is my physicality right now? My physicality is a very watery place, apparently. Yeah? Oh, this entire spread is very watery. In the star card, we've got water. We've got water here in, well, the cups. The cups are the water suit. We start here again with a 10, right? And I will not wear this beautiful outfit again with this beautiful spread cloth. So the 10 here, which reflects the 10 of Pentacles for me. Here we have, instead of financial and resources, the stability of family in the material sense, here we have the emotional stability. Now, we've got our emotions, our emotional connections all sorted out. We're comfortable. We're secure in our emotions. And we can, as in this card, we can feed others with resources. We can feed others emotionally here. So that's where I want to start in my day-to-day life. I want to start with my emotional stability, and from my emotional stability, be available to help feed the emotions of others. Let that excess of joy, love, well-being pour into the cups as I have access to feed others. Not when I don't have access. If I'm feeling perhaps a 4 of cups moment, then I'm not ready to be feeding others. But here in the 10, I'm ready to be feeding others, right? I've got the rainbow, I've got my peeps, I've got my family, whether it's a biological family or a selected family, an intentional family. I've got my group of people available to me, and I can share with them, and I can also help emotionally support and feed visitors to my realm, to my space. So from that area, I can move into the 7 of Cups. And the 7 of Cups is the time, it's the opportunity to me for dreaming, for envisioning, for seeing possibility and potential. Something like the star is, but in a more specific sense. Yeah, we see this figure here with butterflies, spirit flying, floating, interacting with us, sharing space with us, and demonstrating the joy of daydreaming and imagining potential, possibilities. Where can I go? What do I want to do? What can I do? Where am I going from here? So, move from here into here. I start seeing my potential. I start seeing what I can do. And then we move into the Magician card where we actually start manifesting stuff, right? We pull all this resources of all the elements together and we start to create as above, so below. We direct the power of spirit, of the universe, of the cosmos, of the divine consciousness that we all exist within, down to this specific place and time, and we manifest. And that's what, and it's the eternal now, right? That Lemniscate reminds us that we draw this energy, this power down into the eternal now, and we manifest, we create. So that is the day-to-day of my spiritual journey, and it's a beautiful thing, right? I want to make sure that I am fed and have stable with my emotional resources so that I can daydream in that space. And as I feed others, I can feed myself. Because this is also a self-feeding in the Seven of Cups. And from there, I can I can see my potential and I can start creating. So, what is the advice? The advice is a wonderful Swords, Cups combination. And we see that the King of Cups is looking in this direction, but these people are moving in this direction. So there's that sense of them meeting in the center, right? So this advice, it's not go from here to here or go from here to here. It's this advice wants to meet in the center, wants to join, wants to do this alchemy. The alchemy of moving on and being stable in our emotions, which is an echo of this, right? So it's a journey. The question was about a journey. So the advice is keep on journeying, yeah? Move into your calm waters from whatever turmoil you've experienced in the past from which we might want healing. We want to move forward. And we want to be in our stability, in our emotional stability, in our ability to manage our own emotions and be stable in the turmoil of the emotional environment around us. The king is able to stay centered in the eternal here and now, which was here, yes? Is able to stay centered, in alignment, in their emotional power, and have empathy for those who are around him or her or them, and be powerful in that empathy. Have that empathy feed their power, and allow that empathy to be what leads other people. Because the king is also the leader, right? The kings of the suits are the leaders and bring those around them into the future, into the direction we all want to be moving in. Yeah? We've got the fish reminding us that the king is completely connected to the collective unconscious. And the king sees broadly, maybe psychically broadly, because the king is also in the intuitive suit. So we have that broad psychic sense. We've got our ability to be stable in the midst of emotional turmoil and lead others towards their joy, towards their happiness. So we move on and stay stable all at the same time, which is possible. Yeah, we can carry what we've learned forward with us as well. We don't have to leave everything behind as we move forward. So does that make sense? Can you see how this spread teaches? Not by this card means this one thing and then we move on to this other card which means another thing. These cards mean a thing. These cards mean a thing. And I think this is a beautiful spread, I mean. And I think this was a beautiful reading for me at this time as well. And it's good confirmation that my picking up of the A Course in Miracles study, just started yesterday, was a good idea. Because now, with what I have learned and what I am learning, I can do the alchemy of creating a new journey, a fresh journey, a newly inspired and energetic journey. And I can move on in my stability. And I can create, I can manifest in hope. Beautiful reading. What do you think? I'd love to hear from you. What do you think of this spread? If you try this spread out, I'd love to hear what you think of it as well. Now, what I generally do is I will use one deck for this. I'll use a second deck for this line, a third deck for this line, and then 2 oracle cards for the advice. But I wanted to show you here that you can just use one deck if that's what you want. Small decks are nice if you have them because they take up less space, but a standard or even a large deck will work if you've got the space to lay it out. So friends, again, what do you think? Let me know. If you try this out, let me know. Hit the thumbs up button if you're still here so that I know that you got something out of it, and YouTube knows that you got something out of it, and it will draw more people to the channel. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and hit the alarm bell so that you get notifications of when I upload videos. I'm going to now try to do 3 a week. I can't make that promise. I do 2 a week. I sometimes do 3, and we'll see how this goes. And friends, if you want a private reading from me, my email address is in the description box below, and you can send me an email and we can work out a reading for you using this spread, another spread, just a 3-card spread, Rider-Waite-Smith, Thoth, Tarot de Marseille. Anything is possible, friends. So much possibility. And friends, now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.